Ronin Man here. One of the most, I think, valuable things you can do as a man is to follow news stories. I don't mean like read the news all the time. I mean when there's something interesting or something that you think is important, to follow the story over time. And the reason why is because through that following of the story, you will learn more from following the story than you will from the original story. Because you will see the biases, you'll see human nature, kind of things, how things get forgotten, how, like a lack of, let's say, for example, a lack of legal knowledge on the part of a writer might make somebody misunderstand something. Somebody might think, for example, that there's a big turning point and everything's changing. And, they'll write an article about that. Not everybody's nefarious. Not every misleading article is on purpose. A lot of it is due to lack of knowledge of that profession, maybe a little bit of not caring, right? And a little bit of, as I mentioned before, being in a hurry, right? So a lot of the news is, they pay $75 a story. These guys, they write the story, they're on to something else, right? So you can't really blame the writers. But the bottom line is, you as a man, how do you kind of, do you not read the news at all? Do you take in a few things? I think one of the things you can do that's kind of fun too is to think about it and follow a story. And then think, okay, well, now I read this before. Sometimes it's good to even keep the articles, like, for example, in a bookmark, and you kind of can see, because as things change, you might not notice, and then you go back and read them. So I'm just going to do a quick kind of just bullet point talking about different articles I've seen here. I talked about Brad Pitt before and Angelina Jolie, and I think it's a great topic because, one, it's just a gift that keeps on giving, because this story this nightmare for Brad Pitt just never ends. I mean, let's start from the beginning, which I talked about in the original video, was, this guy is a titty man, right? He's a tit man, right? You got ass men, right? You got tit men, right? This guy's a tit man. Like, if you look at every single chick he dated, the boobs might not be huge, but they were perfect, right? This guy likes titties, right? I like Brad Pitt. I think he's very, for a star, he's very, very accessible, I remember stars when I was growing up, and they were totally different. This guy, I could see this guy coming. For example, I could see Brad coming to a summit. And I could see it being a lot of fun too. So let's go back to it. Okay, so he gets married. He leaves his wife, right? And he goes with this girl. And, she had, big knockers. I can't remember if they're fake or whatever. But anyway, some guys don't care as long as they're big, right? Anyway, they were big. And then she goes and hammers him with two things at once. The first thing she does is she adopts all these kids that aren't his blood. Now, I don't know if you've ever been with a person with, let's say, a personality disorder, but I will tell you this, is they try to hurt you. That's one of the main things. They're trying to think of things that will really hurt you. And it depends, of course, on the intelligence of the woman as far as how well she does her job as hurting you, right? And it also depends on your situation, right? It's very personalized. It's like a personal torture, right? Now, think about this. You're Brad Pitt, right? You're a good-looking guy. I don't know how old he is in this picture, but pretty old, right? Looks great. Girls love him. Massive demand. One of the biggest stars of all time, right? And, really, historically, this is a leading man of all times. He will be mentioned 100 years from now. They'll be like Brad Pitt, and just like we talk about Fred Astaire, or we talk about different stars from different eras, they kind of never go away because their movies and the things they made are always kind of around. So once you reach the level of a leading man in Hollywood, you kind of never get forgotten, right? Brad Pitt's that level, right? So he gets married to this girl. She's got big titties, right? He's all stoked, right? He's like, hell yeah, gonna pound this unit, have a good time, have some kids, right? What's the first thing she does? She starts to adopt kids that aren't his. Now that sounds like I don't know. If you don't think about it, if you've never been in with a woman who has narcissistic personality disorder, you might think, oh, they adopted kids. Like that was their thing, right? They were like the adopters, right? But let's look at it through another lens. What is the one thing that would really hurt a guy like Brad Pitt? He's so in demand. Girls want his sperm. I mean, there's girls that if you put an ad in the paper like I'm going to blow my wad in your mouth, girls all over the world would answer. He would never have any time to sleep. There's so many women that would accept that offer, right? And they want his genes, right? They want his genes. Women want a value man like this. They want the guy's genes, and he knows it, right? He knows that the combination of the way he looks and the prestige and power and the wealth, it's like a magnet for women. So what would you do if you wanted to show, once you've trapped the guy, once you've locked him in, right? And this is the way they've talked about marriage since the beginning of time. It's a trap, right? Once she's trapped him in the cage, right? Then what do? You tell him he's worthless. You want to bring him down so he slaves away for you as this. It's a totally different thing when you're dating a woman, is when you're the husband. When you're the husband, they got you, and now she's trying to think, yeah, she liked you when you were all like high and mighty and out there slaying the girls, but now she has to take you down. A guy like this, she's got to take him down. Bring him down so that he's trying to please her, right? Because he's not a simp, right? He's not a simpy kind of guy. So what do? You really have to destroy the guy. And that's why, like Angelina Jolie, and I talk about this a lot, is that the top guys, only the top predators can take them down. And that's exactly what happens in Hollywood. And I'm telling you, I spent a lot of time dealing with people in the media. I grew up not far from Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, this is well known in Hollywood. If you go in Hollywood Hills, they will tell you, guys will tell you, like the women that get these famous guys, man, there's something else. It's not just some random girl. It's the girl that can just beat every other chick, right? And it's got to be a girl who knows how to control the guy somehow. Otherwise, he's not going to marry her, right? So she is definitely the ultimate predator for a man. Now, not anymore, because she's like a grandma, but she was, right? So she sees him, high self-esteem, chicks everywhere. What's she going to do? Number one thing, I got to bring this guy down when he's around me. See, she doesn't care if he goes to a movie, let's say a premiere, and everybody's fawning on him. He comes home, and then she'll say something like, oh, Brad, oh, did you get your big ego boost today? That's the way they talk to big stars. That's the way women in Hollywood talk to big stars, their wives, because they're trying to take them down. They don't want the guy. Yeah, it's a way to control him. It's like you got to take the guy down because he's getting so much praise from everybody. So he comes home, like she's just like, it's totally different, right? When he's out on the town, when he meets anybody, Brad Pitt, in Japanese they're always like Burapi, Burapi. He was so popular in Japan they had a different nickname for him, and Burapi, right? And I look a little bit like Burapi, so a lot of girls thought I looked like Burapi, so I got Burapi. Like I got so many chicks because I looked like Brad Pitt, and he was really popular at the time. And so, I got to thank him for that. I don't mind the fact that he helped to grease the slide there a little bit. But okay, so now she's doing what every Hollywood wife does. Then, okay, I'll just hurry this up. Then she says, "What can I do to really get this guy, to bring him down so that he's gonna grovel at my feet? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to adopt kids that aren't his." Essentially tell the guy, you are so worthless that I don't even want your DNA. Like your DNA is nothing. And she continues this until this day. Like this is her strategy. It's very obvious from the outside. Okay, so Brad has no idea what he's coming into. No idea, right? Okay, now I just want to quickly tell you, these are bullet points. So here's Brad Pitt. Now, what do you think about that picture? It's the worst picture. You wouldn't even recognize him, right? So you know right away, if you know anything about Hollywood, is that the writer is trying to take this guy down. He does not like Brad Pitt. It's 100%. Like, no, you got to remember, Jolie's also in Hollywood. So the writers are either on one side or the other, basically. They're either on his side or they're on her side, right? There are people on Brad's side. But this writer was not, right? Picks this picture, and then if you look through it, it's hilarious because every picture, it makes him look like a total dork, right? And what else? He looks sad. He looks lonely. He looks like a loser hiding behind his glasses. That's really what it looks like. And again, Hollywood and media is all about image. So this is the image. Make no mistake, the writer of this article, let's see, who was it? Philip McDonald is a professional. He knows exactly what image he's trying to create when he's writing a story. Now let's see what other pictures we got here. Oh, there he is looking at his phone. Very attractive, right? What is his only companion? A dog. Let's look in the background. What is there? Garbage. And look at the title. Brad Pitt looked lonely. Okay, lonely during Solo. Okay, so how many different ways can you say lonely in Solo, right? And then garbage in the background. Looks like there's more garbage on the right, and there's garbage on the left, right? Then you got the dog. Okay, and again, this time you got the dorky clothes and everything, and you got the pants, which, not his best look, right? Let's see, what's next? Another picture. Wow. This guy had to look hard to find pictures that made him look bad. Oh, another one. There you go. And there he looks really dorky. Like, you literally would not know who he was. I wouldn't even recognize him. There's no way. Is there any more? Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't realize there was this many. Oh my God, another one. So this is like all he's got, right? Now, let's look at, here's a picture of Jolie. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 kids around her, smiling. She's the patriarch. Everybody's dressed up. Everybody's looking good. Especially the kid on the right. He's really looking dapper. Everybody's looking their best. They're smiling, right? They're really, most of the kids have a really solid, professional look. And then in the background, what's in the background? Oh, science. Yep, the boy who harnessed the wind. So this is like the image, okay? The image, perfect name for a photo. The image is of an excellent, what else? You can tell me. Professional, debonair, right? Black, all black. A lot of the kids are in black. What a coincidence. They're doing what their mother wants. Oh, it's interesting, right? Their favorite color is black. Isn't that interesting? Right? Okay, and it's a sophisticated science, thinking of the kid's future. Everybody's happy. I mean, is she lonely? Is there garbage in the background? Is she, you know what I mean? Is she sad? Nope, that's not the picture. Okay, here's a picture of her and Jolie. Now, this one's kind of hopeless because she really was not very pretty, so you couldn't really do much with her. She always looked like a man to me. I mean, she looks like a tranny in Bangkok. I would say she has a similar look. And I think the reason why, I don't mean that as a put down. I mean, like, she does. Like, she literally would look like a cross-dresser in Bangkok. And that's because of the masculine jawline. Look at the jawline. And then also the lips. That's the kind of thing they do here. The bar, whatever, I'm not sure what the proper term is, but LGBT or whatever, they're often like this kind of look, right? And so we got this. I mean, to me, she's kind of terrifying. I really, he by now he was already tricked. I mean, he was too late. He had bigger things on his mind, but like even her head is just so large and square. It looks like her hair is like bolted on. It's crazy. I mean, it is really crazy. Oh yeah, and the minute he married her, she cut her tits off. That's the other thing. So she's like, nope, no titties for you, son. Okay, we're just going to go through these articles. Next one. Okay, now here's where we get to two more of Brad Pitt and Angela Jolie's kids drop Pitt from their name. Now, here's where we get to the serious stuff. This is when we get to the serious stuff. Okay, so they're dropping his name. So she's already taken his DNA out of most of them. Yeah, like most people, your kids is your DNA, but not his. But now she's getting them to drop their name so they don't look like him. So that's what a man's goal in marriage is to pass his genes on. That is what men want. That is men's goal. Every man, you, me, it's deep in our DNA. We want to pass on our genes. It's one of our most basic primal wants and needs. Guess what? The top guy, one of the top guys in the entire world, and again, could even be argued of old time, is like, screw you, buddy. Nothing. Don't want shit from you. Your genes are shit. They're worth nothing. Your name, the value of your name is nothing. Now, is she saying that? No. Much worse. What's happening? Kids are dropping Brad Pitt from their name. They're dropping Pitt. Now, first thing is, ask yourself, a lot of these kids are very young. How many kids, okay, now this guy has never been arrested. I don't know if he was ever got DUI or anything in the past, but I mean, through the marriage, like, he was never arrested. He's not a criminal. I mean, it could be argued that he's a pretty faithful husband, too. We never heard about him cheating. He's obviously a good earner. He's obviously a great-looking guy. He's got charisma. There's no question he's got charisma. He's got a sense of humor. He kind of looks good in everything. Like, he looks good in Fight Club. He looks good in a tuxedo. He's got that kind of, not only is he handsome, but it's one of those looks that is so classic that it kind of goes in different genres. That's another thing in Hollywood. That's another level of handsome, right? Is somebody who has that ability to pull it off in different ways. He could be a mechanic. He could be a sports coach. He could be, you know what I mean? He could be all the diver, presidential candidate on movies or whatever, and he would fit, right? That's the thing about this guy, because he's got such classic good looks, right? But now they're dropping his name. Now, how many kids that are this old would drop your dad's name? Let's just say Brad Pitt aside. Let's not talk about him. Let's just talk about real life. How many of your friends dropped their dad's names publicly when they were young? Like, how many kids call lawyers and dropped their father's last name? When the father's giving money, the father wants to meet them. The father's not passed away. There's no new dad. It's like they're just dropping the name. Think of how odd that is. Is he the only father in the whole world where his kids just spontaneously don't want his name? Are not children attached to their parents? Is that not the deepest desire of a child? Is to please their mommy and daddy? I know it was mine. It's you want to please them. Even if they don't love you, you want to please them. That's how strong the drive is. But guess what? They don't even want his name. Okay, so they're dropping his name, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see, Zahara, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's dropping his name, basically. It's kid after kid. Okay, now, here we go. It's heartbreaking. Let's see. Let me get this. It's hard to get this in the thing. It's heartbreaking. Angelina Jolie turning kids against Brad Pitt. Ex-bodyguard claims. Now here is finally somebody telling the truth. What is this called that she's doing? What is that called? Men can do it too, and women can do it. What is it called? It's called parental alienation, and it causes children to do things like this. They will drop their parent's name. They will not see the parent. They will treat the parent poorly. And, this is well known, they will treat the abusive parent better. Why? Okay, they've talked to kids. Why would they treat, let's say that the father is loving and the mother is abusive and is really abusive. Like, I'm not saying she, I'm saying, let's say a mother. And this is the studies they've done. Why would the children treat the mother better than the father? Why would the children ignore the father when they go visit them? Why would they, on their parental days, visit days, why would they call their friends and go out and watch a movie when instead of being with their father? What's the reason? And then be with their mother who was abusive. Why would they do that? The reason is very simple. They've asked the kids. Is the kids say, look, they basically know what they're doing is wrong. They cry. They're very emotional. And then they say, well, I know that daddy basically is not going to punish me. So a good parent is not going to punish the child for ignoring them. Why would they not do that? The reason why is because when you are parental alienation, go search it. But I will warn you in advance, it is the saddest topic on the internet. I'm serious. There's nothing sadder than parental alienation. It is so deep and the despair is so heavy. You almost don't want to watch videos on this. I'm serious. It's one of these things. I can watch videos of war. I can watch videos of any kind of atrocity. But parental alienation videos, no fucking way. I can't watch them. They're just too painful. I'm totally serious. I personally think, as somebody who's had his child taken, kidnapped by the courts, okay, I personally feel that this is the worst human rights violation in modern society. Men losing jobs, not a big deal. Not in comparison to this one, because it's not the same as not having children. It's when your own children are turned against you. And as a loving parent, you can't straighten them out because they don't understand what's happening. So the only thing you can do is just continue being nice. You have no other choice because the child's mind is so fragile at this point. When someone's being brainwashed, it's so terrible. It's the same as the propaganda gets too deep. People, their mental state becomes very frail and very extreme. So as a father, when you see a mother turning your children against you, your only choice is to suck it up. If you love the children. If you don't love the children, then you can tell them all everything. And you can just not worry about how it's gonna affect them because it's the truth. It is the truth. Okay? And you do have a right to do it. Unfortunately, it's a catch-22. You can't. So a loving parent just sucks it up. And the children, why are they doing the bidding of the parent? Why would they do that? Why would they ignore their own father? Why would they drop his name? The reason is because if they don't, they will be punished by the bad parent. And how it works is this. So for example, it's very subtle. So I'll just give you one example. So the child comes home. Oh, how did you have a good weekend? Oh, I had a great weekend. Daddy took me to Disneyland. The mother, okay, in this case, the abusive mother, turns her back on the child. Like she's all animated, all happy, and the child, the parents only have to do that a certain amount of times. And they realize, oh, when I come home from daddy's house, I can't be in a good mood or I'm going to be punished. My parent will not love me. And they already know they're on thin ice because they were already abusive to their father on purpose at the behest of their mother. And so they know, children really need their parents. And so what do? They learn quickly. Kids are not dumb. They quickly learn, and that is exactly what the mother wants. In this case, an abusive mother, a parental alienator. They want the child to know, don't ever say anything good about him. Don't ever be happy when you're talking about him. Don't ever have had a good weekend with him. Because if you do, there's hell to pay once you come home. You think you're going to get driven to school? You're going to ride the bus. You think I'm going to love you and pay attention? No, I'm going to ignore you. You think I'm going to stay home with you? I'm going to get a babysitter. I'm going to go out. There's many things parents can do, and it's just the subtlest things that will absolutely tear the child apart. Like literally, the child does not have the emotional stability to handle this. They cave immediately. So that's how it works. That's exactly how it works. That's how they control the kids. Now, here in this case, we have a very unique situation because this is a rich couple and they have a bodyguard. The bodyguard is telling the truth to the press. And the bodyguard was under an NDA, and because of the NDA, he can't talk about it. Okay? So, what happens? She tries to get him with a lawyer. It's not in this article, but I know she hammered this guy. If you tell the truth, you're fucked, right? And the guy told it anyway. And I think because it made her look so bad that in this case, I don't think she really hammered the bodyguard. But he told the truth. Here's what he said. I saw everything. He said, I think both web and security employees were witness to their toxic marriage and the impact of this behind-the-scenes drama had on their children. Let's see, where he talks about her. She was trying to silence the employees, blah, blah, blah. She tried to stop him from testifying. I don't remember where it is, but basically he talks about how it's heartbreaking, and yeah, here we go. Basically, it's heartbreaking. The employees they want nothing to do with Brad. It's basically the bodyguard wasn't aware of what parental alienation was, so he basically thought she was like an evil witch. But actually, she was practicing a very well-known technique, which absolutely affects. It's a type of abuse that is so deep and so thorough that it completely changes a child's childhood. It's completely. They never have the relation with the father. The father is literally torn apart by their own children. It is the most tragic thing. Again, I'm not going to get into it because it's just too painful to even talk about. Another one drops a name. More articles about that. Let's see here. So we're talking about new reports, and I just want to say quickly about this: is they go back and forth. These articles, again, the same stuff. He's alone. She's got everything. And the purpose of this is, again, to make him look like a fool, to make him look like an idiot. I don't know if it's the same person. That would be interesting if it's the same person. It doesn't say who they are. Oh, interesting. Interesting. There's no name. Wow, that's interesting. Wow. Okay. But anyway, same thing. Names dropped. Here we go. One more article. Brad Pitt's nightmare. His kids going public with what they've been through. So now we're at the new level. Now we are at. Let's see here. Right. Now we are at the point where she is now dictating the narrative. This is part of parental alienation. She's dictating the narrative where the kids are now telling the story she wants to tell. And guess what? He's a famous guy. The kids are going to talk to the press. And even if they don't, guess what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this is to torture this man. It's also to get the kids, but it's also, she wants to utterly destroy this man. That is her goal. So, I mean, really, guys, think about it before you get married. Like, I don't think most young guys have any idea of the amount of pain this guy's been through. It is a miracle. Okay, I've been following this. The reason why Brad's especially bad is because, A, he's a movie star. So that means he has a lot of choices. So he feels like a dunce. Like, of all women I chose not only the worst one, but a very smart and evil and long-term one, right? And he's being publicly humiliated. That's like 10 times worse than private because everybody has an opinion, right? Now she's creating a narrative that he's this abusive guy. And, of course, he's this evil guy. And, again, it's the same thing that you see with every... basically, just the way to think about this one is it's the same false allegations you're going to get whenever you go through child custody. And again, it's from things that the mother said. Children don't do this. Children do not turn against their father. They don't publicly, they don't threaten to do interviews that will destroy their father. Okay, kids just don't do that. This has been a loving father. She is working on this guy. She's trying to destroy him. She doesn't want him in her life, right? But that should not be something that's accepted, right? So now here's the final one. So Angelina asked Brad to end the fighting and drop his winery lawsuit against her. Okay, now this is great. I just want to say this because I've been following the story. So in this one, she's saying, like, stop the fighting, let's end the fighting. Now, who divorced who? She divorced him. Who filed a lawsuit against him? She did. Who brainwashed the kids? She did. Right? Who filed endless NDAs against people to talk so that no one could tell the truth about their relationship? She did. Not Brad Pitt. He did not file it, and he did not try to. Brad Pitt, all through this thing, has been trying to get at the truth. And you can see that. She's having everybody sign NDAs, and then she's hammering on these NDAs, right? And in fact, there's even more NDAs because she didn't want her NDAs that she gave to the employees that she hires. She gives everybody an NDA. This woman is the queen of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. In other words, you can't talk. She's the key of squeezing people's necks with money, power, and the law. She's the lawfare queen, and she uses it against everybody. Okay, and in this case, she's using it because they bought a vineyard together, and in the agreement, which is written down, it was that nobody will sell their shares to an outsider. Is no matter what happens, like she could sell hers to him, so he owns 100%. He could sell his to her, and she'd have 100%. But nobody else. He's not going to sell it to a vineyard, so that they're bringing outsiders to this vineyard. Because this vineyard was very important to Brad Pitt. So the one thing he wanted out of the divorce was this vineyard, and it was super clear. I've been reading this since the very beginning. It's super clear that she had no right to sell, and that it was really vindictive and really outrageous because he could have sued the shit out of her over this. Now, he did file a suit, but he did not go scorched earth at all. But he did say, hey, you can't do that. Basically, I want to buy it back. He wants this fucking vineyard. This is the one thing he wanted, right? In the predatory female, they always say, give a guy a shotgun as a wedding present because it's the only thing he's going to get out of the wedding, right? Well, this is the one out of the divorce. This is the one thing he wanted, was this winery. He really loves this. This is his thing. He loves to have a vineyard. And guess what? Anything that is his happiness, she took the kids. She took the money. She destroyed him. She is to me, she's just a despicable, evil, parental alienator. And this is the worst word I can use. YouTube, luckily, is stupid. They don't understand how bad that is. That is the worst word you can call somebody, is a parental alienator. Or whatever the correct term is for someone who practices parental alienation. And then it's like, no happiness for you. You can't even own the fucking vineyard. And so now she's saying, because she wants the whole thing, okay? She's saying, end the fighting. The fighting wasn't over the vineyard. The vineyard is just the scraps at the very end of a very painful situation. And now she's the victim. So this is a beautiful thing. It ends up with her, the victim. Yeah, she's trying, punish and control and NDA. Oh my God, Brad and NDAs. Oh, you got to follow this story to really know how outrageous she is. She really goes, she's a Hollywood queen, right? So she knows everybody just reads one article, looks at the pictures, and they're done. Nobody follows it like I do, right? But it's like, if you read about her and NDAs, oh my God. She's a fucking evil queen when it comes to NDAs. You couldn't say shit about her. She's going to attack you like a fucking... I imagine she's got a lot of shit in her background. To be that good at NDAs, NDA means you can't talk. I'm going to make it so you can't talk. Okay? Have you ever made someone sign an NDA? I haven't. Okay? There's a reason why people do that. It's because they fuck people over. And they don't want people to talk about it. Okay? NDAs, in this case, there's other things, NDAs for inventors. But this is NDA for a Hollywood person, right? It's totally different, right? It's basically like, imagine her hands around your neck, or your neck in a vice and her tightening it, right? That's what an NDA is in this case, right? Okay, so it goes on here, and now she's basically saying it's a total It's a total lie. Now, luckily, some people are saying it's extremely upsetting. She used the kids as a weapon. She has separated them from them. But see, people don't understand that. People that don't know, you guys are patient and you study and you're disciplined. And you'll go follow things. You'll come back, guys will come back videos I did 5 years ago, ask me questions, right? This is very uncommon. Today, it's cat videos, 3-second cheerleader videos, right? And so you guys are watching, right? And so you could say, wait a second, maybe, and also you guys are cynical too about what's going on, right? So you'd be like, she has separated them. Maybe it's possible that a mother could turn the kids against them, even if he did nothing wrong, right? That's possible, right? And maybe that would be something very enjoyable for a sadist, right? It would be very, very exciting to watch your ex-partner be totally destroyed by the children, right? So I'm just going to end here. Pitt been in a nasty custody fight. They don't mention that this is totally from her side. He wanted the kids. He wanted happiness. He wanted the vineyard. I'm not saying he's perfect, but that's the fucking case here. And every judge knows in family court that there's one person they can trust, there's one person they can't. It's the first thing a judge in family court decides is who's telling the truth. There's always one person in two couples. And if it's really two bad couples, they'll pick the one that's a little bit more honest than the other one. That's the way judges think. Good judges in family courts. Who can be relied upon? I'm telling you, in this case, there's no question. She took the kids. She's getting them to diss their father. She is practicing what is basically textbook case of parental alienation. And now, she is now she wants this vineyard. She's like a fucking vampire for this vineyard. She doesn't care. She never goes there. He goes there all the time. He hangs out in this vineyard. She never goes there. That's another thing. She doesn't go to the vineyard. He does. He hangs out there. This is his thing, right? Guess what? She is now saying, like, end the fighting, like hinting that he did the fighting, right? And then drop the Winery lawsuit. So basically give up if you want me to, what she's saying here in this article is if you want me to stop abusing the kids, okay, give me the vineyard. And then maybe I will not brainwash them against you. And maybe I will say something good about you and allow you to see them. And that's the evil we're dealing with here. If you think that you could beat what Brad Pitt went through as a normal guy, like literally, you are absolutely delusional. This is one of the most powerful men in the world. And it is a miracle he has not taken the rope. I'm totally serious. It's a miracle. What this guy's been through all these years, all his children, publicly, it is like, I'm telling you, Brad Pitt, I would love Brad to come to a summit. This guy is the man. I mean, he has maintained, he never went against, he always put the kids first. All through this battle, he put the kids first. And I'm telling you, if you think you can be better than Brad Pitt, like literally you got to have your head examined, and it's just not happening. I think you know that. So guys, if you're young, you need to know literally how bad it is that ex-wives, they want you to take the rope. They're pushing you to crush you, take everything from you, utterly destroy you publicly, privately, financially. They want you to disappear, okay? So that you never make the children happy, because that is a complication. That's something they got to fight against. See, there's no our kids. It's her kid. It's her kid in the West. And that is the reason. That is the main reason why, I don't know. Would you jump into a meat grinder just for fun? Would you jump out of a building and land on nails? Would you would you hit yourself with a ball peen hammer in the eye over and over till your eyeball comes? Would you do that? No, you wouldn't. Because it's going to be extremely painful. And I'm telling you, this is what a lot of guys in this red pill MGTOW, they always say it's the money. It's not the money, guys. It's not the money. It's your heart and your life. That's what they want. And that's what you got to protect. Fuck the money. All right. I hope this reached somebody who could possibly make this mistake. Be free, guys.